Hi guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman YouTube channel at the Regal Gentleman Studio. We've got Muhammed in the chair today. How are you, mate?
Yeah, very good.
Good, good. Now we've met before. He's a client who done a swipe up to get a free haircut. What's that all about? Hey, come on, what's going on here? No, I'm only messing. Have you been all right?
Yeah, very good.
Good, man. So what do you want to do?
So I have a picture.
Yeah, sound.
So it's growing out quite nicely, so I'm happy with the length it's doing.
Cool.
Basically, I want it to sort of be growing out like that.
Ah, yeah, okay. Okay, were you looking to do this last time I seen you?
The last time we spoke, we was trying to do like a Zayn Malik.
That was it. I thought we were. Yeah.
I'm liking how this looks now. But
okay. Yeah. So
I'm open for suggestions, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, your hair texture is different. It's much thicker than his. I've never met him, but I think looking at his hair to look at yours, it's much thicker. But essentially that kind of look, it can be done. Totally can be done. I just don't know how your hair seems to force quite a lot in the centre, where you want to try and have enough length that it comes over to one side. We can break up that kind of natural part that you've got. You need to grow the hair out. And how long ago did we cut it? About a month?
Yeah.
About a month ago? So I'd say I think the best thing to do today would just be trying to do like a thinning out process of it. So kind of like just a little bit to break up the shape, make it a bit easier for you to style, you know, essentially just try and keep as much length as possible.
Yeah, I'm
just put a bit of shape.
Products in my hair because it's getting too clunky.
Ah, right, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah,
that's perfect breaking it up.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what we need to do because we want to try and maintain as much length as possible. I think that's the main thing. I don't know how long you've got to go. Your hair goes fast though, man. Like really fast. It really does. So I think if we can just try and thin it out, try and make it, I mean, it is very thick. I mean, I remember how long was it when you came in last time?
A month.
No, how long was the hair? I'm just trying to think how long the hair was. It wasn't that long, was it, when you came in? No, it wasn't, was it? Because I think we did a similar thing, didn't we? We cut the shape into it. So that's the thing. I think as long as we just try and thin out the hair. Now, the way I'll thin it out is I tend to work palm to palm. Okay, I don't tend to use thinning scissors for it because by just using thinners, it tends to just cut chunks in certain areas, which again, it grows out very uneven, which I don't want it to. I want it to go out and balance. So when I say balance, I mean with a shape that you can still manage when it gets a bit longer. Sweet. All right, well, let's get you ground up and we'll get you started. All right. It'll make it easier for you to grow it out.
Yeah.
I really do. It'd be nice for you to manage to do it, mate.
Yeah.
Do you reckon you'll do it?
Yeah, I will.
Good.
Yeah.
Honestly, you'll get to that stage where it'll be loads of hats and you'll just keep going with it.
I bought 2 hats.
Did you just want to?
Mate, they're in there. I bought 2 nice hats because I just want to continue just.
Right, so I'm going to start off with a horseshoe section. Now, all I'm looking to do, I just want to keep Muhammed going, right? This is the whole plan here is less is more, but I want to create a really nice thinned out finish this, but not thinned out enough that it's going to make his hair kind of fray and split. All right, I don't want that. I still want shape. I still want structure in there. I want him to be able to keep going with it. I don't want him to shave it off or cut it short or anything like that because I do think you'll suit it. I really, really do. And I think you've got this far. We had a good chat last time I seen you. You know, you've grown it for that long. It was, you know, it was a tough thing to do. Just funny that I was just saying that we was all about caps and he just literally went out and bought 2 caps, which is a good thing because again, I can see the dedication you're there, mate. You're going to go with this, so I like it. So I'm just going to horseshoe this off. Standard horseshoe section, just keeping it below the crown, working from recession point to recession point. And all I'm going to do is try and maintain all that length through the back and sides, but just try and cut a little bit of shape into the back and sides as well. What a lot of guys tend to do, and I've been guilty of this before, is they do this. I won't do it, but they basically just rub the towel over the hair, okay? And what you have to do, you have to scrunch it like this, especially when your hair's long and you've got a bit of curl in it, because it stops the tangle. Now, if he was to rub it with a towel, you cause friction, you cause all the hair to tangle together, and that's when you start combing it through, it starts dragging, you start pulling it, and that's when you get split ends, and it all starting to snap and break. So what you want to do is flatten it down with a towel, and then scrunch dry it. Guarantee anyone watching, do this tomorrow morning, I guarantee it will not tangle. This is a really, really cool way of thinning out the hair and maintaining the hair as well, but also adding some shape. So nice wide sections. So I'm going to take a section just on top of the ear, so right smack bang in the middle of the ear, bring it all together and take about that much off, okay? So what you're doing is you're bringing all the sections together. So this section here and this section is getting pulled into the middle. We're keeping that length and the middle bit's getting cut shorter. So as you can see, the length stays, but the middle bit gets cut shorter. There we go, my guide there, let me use that. So that whole shot we were having before, As you can see, you keep that length in there, it still tucks behind the ear. All right, so that is still an option for Muhammed as well. I don't want to cut it too short that we've been growing it out, because I remember that was one of the big things we chatted about last time, was that you'll be able to tuck it around the ear. Yeah. So there's no point now you coming here and then I've just cut that off, you know? So again, just trying to show Muhammed that we are taking length away, but we're still keeping length in there as well. Again, we're not looking to remove all the length. Take that out, there's a guide. Pull that together, there's a guide. You feel the thinning out already. You feel that side compared to that side, you really start to feel it. And look at that, we're starting to create and break that curl up. And that's what I want. I want him to have options for curl, or for, you know, slicking it back, or whatever he wants to do with it. I just want it to have options, because there's nothing worse than when you grow your hair and you're stuck with the same hairstyle for months. Again, I remember we spoke about this last time I seen you. We talk about autopilot, don't we, as well? You know, what you're used to doing when you had the short hair, and now you've got longer hair, you do have to change your autopilot, which is basically, everyone has one, right? And when I talk about your autopilot, it's basically what you're usually doing when you're styling your hair in the morning, or whenever you're going out. Everyone has this sort of way of doing it, whether it's like, mine just generally is this. Pick it up, but I always tend to go from my left hand up and over. That's what I normally do. Now, when you've got long hair, for one, you've never been taught what to do with it. That's why I try and help you and try and describe and be quite in detail. You know, it comes across as passion, but realistic, I'm just really trying to help. It's just part of the job, right? And I think trying to help you understand what you can and can't do with it. Because I think the biggest thing is what you can do with it, but I think that the sort of unspoken truth that we all kind of, well, I think none of us really talk about, is what we can't do with our hair. Because not everybody can get the style they want, realistically. Like, I know I'd struggle to get a brush back hairstyle to stay. It becomes a lot of effort, a lot of product. If you make that one mistake, or you go that little bit too short, it doesn't work, right? So I think...
I can't do brush back as well. It sort of wants to sit on one side.
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
Whatever I do, I can't do that.
That's it. But I think the problem is as well, is that nowadays, because there's so many styles and there's so many pictures and stuff like that, I think the expectation levels are so high for us, for barbers or hairdressers, that when you see a picture you like, I think people just expect they can get it. But the reality is, you can't always have the hairstyle you want. So I think finding out the hairstyle that works best for you, also trying to find out the thing that isn't going to work as well, is really key, because there's no point in me and Muhammed sitting here and having this long chat about Timothee Chalamet, when the reality is, everyone's sitting there going, what are you playing at? You can't have that. But the reality is, you can have that, because you've got the curl, you've got the movements. It's a little bit thicker, like we mentioned, but I think the more length you get in there, the more we can work on thinning the hair out, the more we can start to shape the hair, find products that are going to work for you. So yeah, it's not going to be exactly the same, but it's definitely going to have some similarities to it, which is the key thing. It's picking elements of the haircuts that we can make work for you. And I think that's the thing. Sometimes there isn't a name for the haircuts. Yeah. It's just the Muhammed. You know what I mean? Like, we just have to call it whatever your name is. Like, that's the best thing to do. There we go. So still following the same guideline. As you can see, I'm not actually cutting the perimeter. There is the perimeter. That is still balancing in with the top section. Keeping it really wide. Still finding the guide behind. We're not cutting into the length that Muhammed's grown. See, not cutting that. There we go. Exactly the same length as the other side. Put it out. There's the perimeter. That starting to tussle. Move around a lot more now. I'm going to take a little bit of length off the top. I think more than we would have done last time, just because I want it to be more balanced. When I say balanced, again, I mean, when you do like a haircut like mine, everything matches, everything's blended in, everything works, the fringe is a little bit left disconnected, but everything about it works. And that's what I want to do for Muhammed's as well. I don't want to just leave the top heaviness. I want to take it down a little bit. I just think with there being more length in the back and sides now, we can get away with taking a bit off the top. That will start to really let it grow out pretty much all in one length, which is the key. Because then when we get to an overall length, then we can start adapting to the hairstyles that you show me. Section just above the round of the head. Now, what we did on the last haircut, we brought it all the way down to the perimeter, as you can see. This time around, I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to leave the fringe out, because I want to keep that length in the fringe. By pulling it down, we kept all the length on the top. This time, I'm going to pull it out. As you see, we're going to remove length. But I'm going to point cut into it. I don't want it to stay too blunt. I know we've got slightly wavy, curly hair, but it's so thick. I think we need a little bit of texture in the ends to make it fall about a little bit more. And what that'll do it just allows the big texture through the side. So we're still keeping the squareness in there, but as you can see, it just starts to, look at that texture in there. And that has got nothing in it, just water. There we go. Right, let's take that fringe out. Is anyone else loving doing this kind of hair, this kind of wavy, thick texture? Because I really am. I don't know if it's just because a lot of guys I've found out they've got a bit of curl in their hair now, but I don't know, anyone else feeling the same way as me? I'm loving doing this kind of style, this kind of thick wave. Working with it, I mean, I haven't used a diffuser more in my career than I have in the last few months, you know? Section just before the middle. If you were to have a 90s vibe, mate, you'd kill it because that just wants to fall. That's screaming at me saying, please give me a centre part, but I don't want to. So I'm going to work it just before and after the middle part. Because I want that Timothee Chalamet style where the fringe is quite heavy. I know it's all heavy, but to me the fringe seems that little bit heavier. So I want to create that vibe to it. Same again this side. Let's guide that. So even though we are cutting these sections a bit shorter, they're going to fall into these curls, going to help move them around, give that little bit of shape on the sides as well, maintain the length. But essentially we are taking length off the top. It's still nowhere near as long as short at the back and sides. So if I was taking the top really, really short, then it wouldn't make any sense. But because the top is still longer, we can get away with taking a bit off. There we go, one just before the centre. One just past, tiniest little bit. Bit more off the front. Now, I'm going to work from the front, the back. I'm going to take a bit off, not that much off. Yeah, about that much. But I just want to make it sit a bit easier for them and also become more flexible as well, not having the kind of top heaviness, you know, that you've kind of still got. And you've only got that because the back and sides were shorter last time. That's the only reason why you've got that. The top is always naturally longer, right? So, go, just connect that in there. So I'm going to leave that fringe disconnected, okay? Because that's essentially what we're trying to achieve, all right? Now, just to finish off, I'm going to do some really, really heavy slicing. Big sections, like so, away from the crown. Now, because you've got that slight curl, I'm just going to work it like a ribbon, okay? Just going to work it, not too short, just from the top. I'm just going to work the hair like that a little bit. Just work it up. So you can see what I'm doing, just creating like that ribbon effect. And what it does, it just creates a bit of a spiral, but it helps just to kind of break them ends up so it becomes nice and textured, all right? But again, not removing length. Twist it around. Just way above halfway, about there. And just cut like that. I don't tend to slide through it, I just tend to cut little bits. I just find it works a bit better. Another section. And you see how this spirals out. Right, that's all I'm gonna do, mate. Again, less is more. I think it works quite nice as well, mate, to be honest. Right, so I'm gonna put a little bit of the Baxter California grooming cream in. I'll show you how much I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use a fair amount, okay? About that much, okay? So probably what's that, about maybe a 10 pence piece size? So anyone in America, probably like is that a dime, is it? I think it is. Or maybe like €2 if anyone watching around Europe. I'm going to work this into the hair. Now Muhammad's hair is towel dried, okay? It's just a bit damp. I'm working this in, scrunching this through. I'm going to bring this over from one side to the other. Very sort of similar to the photograph that you showed me. Bring it over. I don't want any stray hairs falling down. I want everything to be sort of smoothed, like that. Let bits just fall naturally where they want to live. So I'll take this off here as well. And I'll pop a tiny bit more grooming cream in there, just for the back. That was literally just like a fingertip size amount. Just for the back, like that. So, high speed and a medium heat, okay? See the difference of the diffuser, it's not blasting the hair everywhere. I'm just trying to dry it in this kind of shape. Again, the grooming cream doesn't have an awful lot of hold, but when you dry something in, it tends to just keep the hold a bit more. It's like using it as a base. Now, heat off, cold air, just to set it as much as we can. I think that looks amazing on you, man.
I'm really happy with that.
That looks amazing. See, your hair, I mean, just by doing such minimal sort of technique or much minimal cutting, I think it's created such a lovely style. Now, even if the wind blows that, it's got that kind of shape sitting in there now. The top is much shorter than it was when you came in, but it's more balanced as well now. So the top was obviously a lot longer because we were growing it out. Yeah. Whereas now you've done the right thing. I think coming back, so what was it, 6 weeks I seen you last?
Yeah, 6 weeks.
About 6 weeks. Do you know what? I'd normally say go longer, but I think for what you're doing, I think that was a good time to come. I really do. I think coming in and getting that shape put in, I think with your hair as well, you have to though. It's so thick. You know, I think when you get to the length you want, you can go a few months then without. But I think while you're getting there, I think maybe now you could leave it, maybe see what it's like in another 6 weeks and then I'll see you again. Maybe you can go a little bit longer if you want to. But I just think the shape and the style and everything in that, I'll show you the back as well, so you can see. So that's what you're getting now. So you're getting a lot more of a looser finish. And you've seen what I did, bit of grooming cream and dried it with a diffuser and that's it. And it's completely dry, but I think it's got that element of that natural shine to it as well. I'm very happy with that, man. Yeah? Yeah, man. Sweet, man. Thank you very much. Lovely to see you again, mate. Yeah. I'm glad we're still on this journey together. Yeah. It's good. Don't give up. No. I won't, you don't. All right?